We're back then with another in-depth breakdown for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Today we will look at Wolverine. Now, I've had access to the game early access for a few weeks, so I've actually got all heroes maxed out at max level. I've got all the cards unlocked and upgraded to tier 2. I have all friendships for the heroes unlocked as well. So in this video, for that reason, I'm going to be able to cover everything you need to know for Wolverine. Now, a breakdown of what we will be covering. We'll start off with an overview where we'll talk about his general playstyle. We'll follow that up by looking at his cards. I'll tell you which ones I would recommend using. They're all upgraded to tier 2. We'll then move on to the stats, and I'll tell you which stats you want to focus on for Wolverine. We have Hangouts next, where I'll talk about the best Hangouts to go on with Wolverine to get the optimal amount of friendship points. We then have the challenge mission, and then finishing up we have some gameplay. Now, if the video is helpful, take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button, and if you want early access to other videos in this series, consider becoming a channel member as well. But let's dive in. Let's start off with the overview first. Heroes then in Midnight Suns fall into 3 different categories. You've got your damage dealers, you've got your support class, and then you've got your tanks as well. Now, Wolverine, I would say, is the first character that's really a hybrid hero in that he's a mixture of both brawler and tank. It's probably 50-50. Other heroes I've looked at, such as Iron Man, I would say it's 90% damage and then 10% utility. Captain America, for example, would be 90% tanking and 10% brawling. But with Wolverine, it's probably 50-50 split on between him being a brawler and a tank character. Unfortunately, for that reason, I feel that he does suffer a little bit like this, in that he is a jack of, not all trades, but he's a jack of 2 trades, but as a result of that, he's master of none, unfortunately. Now, in regards to his passive, you'll regain health per turn with this. It is unfortunately quite a small amount, and normally if you're getting attacked by more than one enemy, it won't offset that amount of damage. But that is a quick overview for him. Let's go in and let's start breaking down the cards now. Heroes then have access to 10 different cards in total. You only have room in your deck for a specific hero for 8 cards, so you will have to drop some of these. We'll show off the tier 2 versions in the cards today. I will just say up front that I feel Wolverine's cards are a little bit on the underwhelming side. That's until you actually start adding mods to them. Now, it looks like from the testing I've done that moddings are to an extent specific to the different characters. Some characters and mods aren't too powerful. Wolverine looks to have some really powerful mods you can get on your cards. So just some examples, you can have it when you use a particular attack. You could add 1 marked or 1 weak or 1 vulnerable. They're all really pretty strong. A lot of these cards as well, this isn't available on the base cards. However, via mods, bleeding seems to come up quite a lot. So if you want to run a bleeding style build in Wolverine, you can do that, but you will need to invest in mods. So he looks like a character that if you're wanting to really take him to the next level, it's going to take a lot of investment and a lot of luck in getting the right mods to roll on your cards. Now, on the subjects of the cards, the first one we'll look at here, all the characters have a version of this. This is called Quick Swipe. It's a very simple card but an effective one. It's got Taunt on it, it's got Quick. What that means is if you defeat an enemy with this card, you'll get the card replay back. So this is used to take out your lower level minions or an enemy that is perhaps in low health. I always recommend taking in 1 or 2 of these cards. At bare minimum, you most definitely want to take in 1. In some instances, you'll look to take in 2. The next card we have here is Chain Swipe. So this one you're chaining 3 times, it's got Taunt on it, and it's got Full Combo. Now, Full Combo means if it's a chain attack and you use all chains on one enemy, then you'll get this effect. So for example, if you've done 3 attacks against an individual enemy, you would apply weak, and that means for the next turn they'll be doing 50% less damage. So this is a card you would look to use if you're going to run a tank style build on Wolverine. If you're looking to run a brawler build on Wolverine, then you want to have at least 1 or 2 of these in your deck. This is Power Slash. So this card, you'll do your damage, you'll do Forceful Knockback, so you'll knock them back further and do more damage. But the important part for your damage builds is you apply 1 vulnerable. That means your subsequent attacks will do an additional 50% damage. This next card here is another one that's great for your brawler builds. This is Lethal Pounce, so you'll chain 2 times. If you do the full combo, that's both your attacks and 1 target, then you'll gain strength, and so with this you'll do 50% additional damage. So the last card we had, you could add vulnerability, so they take 50% more damage. This one allows you to do an additional 50% additional damage, so this can work out really nice. I'm just not a massive fan on the full combo because it hems you in a little bit in regards to using all your attacks in one character. But again, if you want to go for a brawler build, you're looking to apply vulnerability with the last card and then add strengthened with this card as well. So we move on to the skill based cards now. The first one we look at, Berserk. It can be useful for a build where you want to go all in your attacks or a tanking setup. With this one you'll draw 3 Wolverine cards when you use it. Wolverine cards will gain lifesteal for 1 turn, and on top of that as well you'll be looking to gain 2 heroism. So it's a good card to start your attacks or start tanking on Wolverine with. So this here is a pure tank card. The animation for it is really pretty funny, but this is called Stink of Fear. So when you use this, you'll taunt each enemy in an area, you'll gain counters on the enemy's turn. Every enemy that attacks you, you will hit them, and then you apply 1 week to the different enemies within that area as well. So this can actually be a really pretty nice card for survivability and taking some heat off your teammates. So this next card we have here is pretty niche. It could be useful under certain circumstances, but with you only been able to take 8 cards into a fight, I don't feel this is one that I really would use, even if I was running a tank build. So this is called Rapid Healing. With this you'll restore 517 health, so it's near enough all his health you'll restore. You'll cure him as well, so you've got a status effect that will cure you of that status effect. It's playable when Wolverine is unable to act, so for example if you're stunned you can play this card. So once again, pretty niche. In certain circumstances it could be pretty powerful, but for me it's a card I can't see me using enough to actually justify putting in the limited deck that we have. So we move on to the heroic cards here. This one costs 2 heroism to use. You'll chain 4, which is a decent amount of enemies to chain to. It has taunt on it, and if any target is KO'd you gain 1 counter. So ideally when you're using this, what you're looking to do is take out a lower level minion so you'll gain counter, and the remaining enemies that you have taunted, when it's eventually their turn, you'll be doing damage to them when they attack you. We have Pierce and Slash here. This is again quite a niche card, but it can be really useful. Blade's got a very similar card to this as well. So with this one, Pierce and Slash, it's called, if the target has block then you'll deal additional damage to them. It looks like round about 133% additional damage you're doing, which is a fair amount. So there's certain missions you go into where there'll be an enemy that's got a shield that's protecting either an NPC or they're protecting one of the vials you need to destroy. This card can be really nice for missions like this. So depending on the mission you're going into, you're going to maybe want to add 1 or 2 of these into your deck. So the final card we have here is of course the Midnight Suns card. This is called Midnight Special. Now it requires a fair bit of setup, but I would say this is probably going to be the most powerful single target card in the game. So with this particular one, you consume all heroism to damage random enemies X number of times. The number of times you use this attack is based on your heroism, so of course that will be up to +10 maximum. The damage increases by, in this instance, 32 with each attack. Now just to explain it, the numbers here, let's just say for example we were doing 60 base damage, then it would mean the damage would increase by 30 every time. So your first attack is 60, your second one is 90, then it's 120, then 150, then 180, then 210, and it just keeps going on depending on how much heroism you actually have. So imagine you could absolutely annihilate bosses with this. And also on Wolverine's kit, you need to bear in mind he's got that vulnerability and he's got the strengthen that he can add as well. With this, when you upgrade it, you've got 1 heroism for each KO, so if you're using it in lots of random enemies, you'll hopefully get a fair amount of your heroic energy back. You can only use this card once because it does have exhaust on it as well. So this is one that I'm going to try and do a video at some point taking out the likes of a Corrupted Hulk or something along the lines of that, see if I can take them out with this single card. I reckon if you have vulnerability and strengthened and a full 10 heroism you could do it, and it would be pretty amazing. So that is all the cards for Wolverine. Let's go in now and let's talk about the stats. Before we do get into the stats here, I'll quickly mention something I should have mentioned in the last section. So Wolverine actually has an 11th card. It's a self-revive. You'll get this only when you're downed. You can get Wolverine back up with 50% health. It's a free card use to actually use this. So in your harder difficulties, it will come in really helpful. Now, in regards to stats, it's your daily sparring. You'll get different stats available each day, and then you can choose which hero you want to upgrade that stat on. So depends what setup you're running on Wolverine. If you're going for a brawler build, build, then you'll look to use him when it's days that offer crit chance and crit damage. If you're going for a tank build, then you would go for a willpower. Willpower will give you health back each turn, and from a thematic perspective that actually works really nice for Wolverine as well. But that's the stats, nice and simple section. Let's talk about the Hangouts now. So the friendship system in Midnight Suns is incredibly important. After you level up your character to level 5 for friendship, you unlock your Midnight Suns card and costume. You unlock a prestige system of sorts, and every time you level up again after that, you actually gain an additional bonus stat for your character. It is a random stat, but it's still really pretty useful, so you want to make the most of these Hangouts. Now I'm going to do infographics for these at a later date, but for the purpose of this video on Wolverine, the Hangouts you want to go for, these are the ones he loves and you'll get the most friendship points from. It's playing cards, exploring the grounds, pool lounging and have a drinks. You also have special Hangouts, and he actually loves 3 of these, so if you go to these as well, you'll get a ton of friendship points. They are bird watching, mushroom picking and fishing. I realise it's a lot to take in there, but as mentioned, I will look to do an infographic at a later date with all this information collated, but that's the ones you want to do to get the most out of your friendship points, which will in turn upgrade the stats on your hero of choice as well. Now the next section we'll talk about the challenge mission. So your challenge mission is incredibly important. Your Midnight Suns card is actually locked behind this. They're essentially puzzles, and you need to do these exactly as I show in the gameplay here, or you won't be able to beat them. The reason I'm showing these in the video is most of these took me a good half hour to an hour to actually figure out how to do them, so I'm trying to save you the headache of having to go through that by showing it off here. So I'll let this gameplay play out, and then in the next section I'm going to talk you through some gameplay with Wolverine just to finish up the video. So we'll finish up here with some gameplay. It's not a perfect run at all, but that's not what I'm aiming for with this. What I'm aiming for to do is show as much Wolverine gameplay as I can. The setup that I'm running here is more a single target one, which works really nice for defeating the Nest Mother, but as mentioned earlier on in the video, with Wolverine you can look to run him as a brawler or a tank style character. I do feel that I was potentially a little bit negative in this video in regards to Wolverine, but I think that's only coming on the back of the fact that the last 2 breakdowns I've done have been for Iron Man and Captain America, who are 2 exceptionally strong characters. Iron Man's probably the best DPS character and Captain America's probably the best tank character. That's how I feel. I've been a little bit down on Wolverine, but despite that, he is still a good character, and as mentioned, once you start to add mods to him, which is something I'll cover at a later date, I think he really will come alive. But I'll let this gameplay play out. If the video's been helpful, take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button, and once again, if you want to see other videos in this series early, consider becoming a channel member. But thanks for tuning in for this, enjoy this gameplay, and I'll see you all again soon.
I'll give it a whirl. Being a fascist wasn't good enough, huh? You had to get into demon worship too?
For the blood! No more wasted time.
That's real competition.
You will pay the greatest price.
Bring what you got. Kiss it goodbye.
I will make you regret. Your suffering will be immeasurable.
Want it done right, gotta do it yourself.